Today's top stories at NBR. E-Road CEO resigns effective immediately. MPI to pump $13 million into a program with organic cannabis cultivator. Richardson Group enters deal to buy Pacific Petroleum. And there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, 100% subscriber funded and proudly brought to you by you. As is every story at nbr.co.nz. It's Friday, April 8th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks again for joining us. A Christchurch-based company, its founders believed to be the rocket lab of plant protein, has raised $22 million in a Series A funding round, led by one of the space company's biggest investors, Silicon Valley's Koshler Ventures. Leafed Foods, founded by Dr. John Penno and Maury Leyland Penno and led by Chief Executive Ross Milne, has also added NBA basketballer Steve Adams, Ngāi Tahu Holdings via their new economy mandate, and ACC's Climate Change Impact Fund to their shareholder roster as a result of the funding round. The Leyland Pennos retain 70% of the company. Koshler has taken 26%, Ngāi Tahu 1.6%, and ACC 1.3% of the company, which would not disclose its current valuation. Former Cortex chief executive and now E-Road board member Selwyn Pellett has confirmed he's not in the running to take over as CEO of E-Road. The experienced tech company executive told NBR that E-Road CEO Stephen Newman's sudden departure was a surprise, but referred all further questions to the chair of the company board, Graham Stewart. The chair and Newman declined to comment beyond the press release. Cortex merged with E-Road last year, and Pellett was appointed a director of the latter as of December 1st. A company announcement at the time said he would also act as an advisor to Newman during the integration period. The chief executive of My Food Bag is confident that continued year-on-year improvements and hitting its forecasts will be reflected in the company's share price over the long term. The company last March became the country's largest NZX listing since 2014, when it listed at $1.85 a share, valuing it at $449 million. Joining the NBR's Hamish McNicol was My Food Bag Chief Executive Kevin Bowler.
Yeah, we're very pleased with the results. These are, just to emphasise that, preliminary unaudited results from our FY22 year. What we saw is revenue up 1.7% on prior year to $193.9 million. And earnings growth up very strongly, up 17.9% to $34.2 million. In addition to that, we also concluded that our revenue was above IPO forecast.
My Food Bag CEO Kevin Bowler with Hamish McNicol there. The Ministry for Primary Industries is pumping $13 million into a program with organic cannabis cultivator Puro that hopes to fast-track the New Zealand medical cannabis industry. The program, running from 2022 through to 2027, will cost $32.2 million, with MPI's Sustainable Food and Fibre Futures Fund contributing $13 million and Puro putting up the remaining $19.2 million. Agriculture Minister Damien O'Connor said the support provided could help the cannabis industry, which has only been legal in New Zealand since 2020 and could be as successful as the wine industry. From the first planting on a commercial scale in the 1970s, the wine industry has now reached over $2 billion in export value. The Puro program could also further support economic recovery post-COVID-19, the minister said. Chorus has announced that current director Mark Cross will succeed Dr. Patrick Strange as chair when the latter stands down from the board at the fibre network provider's next annual meeting in October. Strange, who is currently also chair of Auckland International Airport and a director of Mercury NZ, indicated at last October's Chorus AGM that it would be his last. Cross is currently chair of Milford Asset Management, but will be retiring on July 1st, and a director of the Accident Compensation Corporation Zero and Z Energy. The latter position will cease on completion of Ampol's takeover of Z. He's also a former director of Genesis Energy and Argosy Property. Cross has also been a director of Chorus since November 2016 and is chair of the company's Audit and Risk Committee. Invercargill-based HW Richardson Group has entered into a deal to buy Australian fuel company Pacific Petroleum for an undisclosed sum. The purchase doubles the size of the group's Australian fuel division to roughly match that of its New Zealand fuel business Allied Petroleum, which is one of the country's largest independent fuel distributors. Richardson Group's CEO Anthony Jones joined the NBR's Nicola Shepherd.
We have a business in Australia called Petrogas. When we look at the energy sector and the petroleum industries as they currently are, for us it's all about a network offering, and a big part of our strategy in Petrogas was to expand that network up the East Coast.
H.W. Richardson CEO Anthony Jones with Nicola Shepherd there. Get the full details of those stories and more at nbr.co.nz right now. This weekend at NBR, Saturday join me for the Week in Review, and Sunday in his weekly book review, Neville Gibson looks at controversial journalist and author Christopher Hitchens. I'm Paul Brennan. Join me again from around lunchtime on Monday for the morning's NBR trending stories. Then again right here from 5:30 Monday for another NBR Today.